Hey, so I got this question the other day is who do I think is in charge of a digital transformation at a company? And it's not one person, in my opinion. So critical roles are probably the chief revenue officer, financial officer, and the CIO. And the reason I say those two roles is first, digital transformations are largely about changing technology, about adopting digital platforms. But that's not the only piece of it. If you really want a successful digital transformation, you need to have financial returns on that digital transformation. So for most companies, that would sit with the chief revenue officer or with the CFO. Now, the interesting thing about digital transformations, in my opinion, is that it really aims to change how a company operates. It really is changing how you help people do their job more efficiently. So from that perspective, there is skin in the game from everybody in the company. That goes from leadership all the way down to the employee who's actually doing the job that potentially will be transformed. When you look at digital transformation, always look at the business process. What we don't often understand during digital transformations is what are people really doing day to day? A lot of people have created workarounds within their job to be successful because either the process wasn't there or the technology wasn't there. There was something missing, so they augmented how they do their job in order to be successful. Often these things are not understood by everybody in the company, resulting in missed opportunities for streamlining and efficiency. So when you're looking at a digital transformation, remember to talk to everybody and document the business process. The business process is going to be a real good starting point to understand truly how the company runs versus how people think it runs. Then from a digital transformation perspective, the CIO is really the one looking across the holistic architecture, cybersecurity, data. I mean, they really see a holistic view of your company because every single system in the company usually sits with them. And so they're going to see the inefficiencies, they're going to see the cost spend on technology, and they're also going to have a perspective on industry and where the industry is going and what platforms we should adopt. Now, the misnomer, which we'll talk about in another video, is that one platform rules them all, or you should have multiple platforms, and really, which one is it? So we'll address that in another video. From the CRO or CFO perspective, it's really about understanding how we track how people do their job. So when you're talking about efficiency, it's really about how do I do my job today? If we don't know how to track somebody's job today, how do we know we've reached that efficiency point? So understanding the KPIs and metrics of what somebody does, being able to benchmark those and then continue to track them as you move to your digital transformation will be the foundation for what would become major transformational cost savings. So I look at efficiency savings, headcount management. And when I say headcount management, that could be your organization staying flat, reducing headcount, or not backfilling, which might result in being flat or might result in being less employees, or the redistribution of employees to other roles based on efficiency. And then you'd want to look at software savings, cost savings, and then revenue uplift. So those would be the main categories that I would ultimately report on. But to understand those categories, there are a number of KPIs that underlie all those that you would want to track on a quarter-over-quarter basis to start seeing the trends towards those major goals. So the reality is everybody in the company owns the digital transformation, that there needs to be a strategy led by a few people at the top, and that strategy needs to filter down to everybody else. And the CIO and the CFO are really who I see the key to the success of that digital transformation. Thanks.